USA and the Caribbean. Yes, SwiftPack is now offering more frequent services and excellent rates for air cargo from the USA and between the Caribbean islands. For reliable air cargo shipments, daily courier services, and weekly ocean cargo to and from St. Vincent, contact SwiftPack Interprime Cargo by email cargo@swiftpack.com. Call our cargo hub at 246-624-3003 or contact your local SwiftPack agent. SwiftPack, send it fast.
What gets you vexed? What's burning you? Don't let it raise your pressure. Get it off your chest. Let it out. Tell us what gets you vexed. Call 485-9797.
The mind. You see that kind of mystical music there? The mind buckles. In a world.
Well, yeah, you know, we just said, with the compliments of SwiftPack. Send it quick, send it fast, send it anywhere.
No, it's Christmas on it. Well,
get in there.
Yeah.
So it's funny, we just talked about the hospital, and as I had predicted, if you ask for horror stories from the hospital, you get them. And a whole heap came in. One of them, though, we've got permission to run the audio of. It's a situation where a woman has her brother is in a serious condition, and she just gives her she recounts her experience. This is at the hospital because
just this weekend.
It seems so, yeah. And it kind of, I've told you, man, running on the hospital is a difficult one. It's a difficult one because so many people have
so much stories,
so many horror stories from it. 4 of us in here, at least 2 of us have horror stories from it.
Oh, yes.
I don't know about Jeannie and Jagger. 3.
Yeah.
Make it 4? 4 out of 4?
Not personally, but I know horror stories.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, let me play this. We've got permission to play it. And we're going to speed it up a little bit just so we could get it all in time. But you can still understand what the person's saying. So let me run it and you take it from there.
Hi, Bod. I have a bone question here. My brother was admitted to the Milton Keynes Hospital on Friday evening. Upon X-ray, he said, an X-ray or CT scan, they found out that he has bleeding in the brain. But I want to know, somebody with bleeding in the brain should be inside of ICU. They're coming and telling we how the ICU is full and other people is ahead of him, and we have to wait. We are waiting now inside of A&E. Eventually, they send us over on the ward. They told us that because there's no room in the ICU, the doctors and them would check him over on the ward. We take my brother over on the ward on the Friday night. We were there waiting for a while. We didn't see anybody. The doctors came. I went and I asked the nurse. I said, "Where is the team of doctors that we're supposed to meet here?" The nurse looked at me like if I'm from Mars. She knows what I'm talking about. I said, "Well, we were told the reason he come over on the ward is because some team of doctors there waiting on him because the ICU is full, and there's other people ahead of him." And the nurse said to us that no doctors will pass the ward tonight until in the morning. Anyway, we have to accept it the way it is. We know he's bleeding in the brain. We got to watch him in the night. The next morning, we're there all day. All they told us that he's bleeding in the brain and they're going to give him some tablets and whatever, and they're going to see if the bleeding stop, whatever. And the ICU is full. Eventually, by 6 p.m. Saturday night, my brother died because he did not get no attention. No surgeon came to check his head to see what's going on. But my question is, I want to know, why is there a long line of waiting for patients to go to the ICU? And where are the surgeons then? Is there any surgeon that has to deal with people?
All right, so admitted on Friday evening with some sort of head injury.
Dead by Saturday night.
They did the CAT scans. They did the whatever it was, X-ray, MRI, whatever it was, CT scan, and discovered that the patient has bleeding on the brain. I'm not a doctor, but it sounds serious. They were told they couldn't go into ICU because ICU is full. All right, fair enough. If it's full, it's full. So they would treat the patient presumably from the Mayo Surgical, right? This is happening on Friday nights. They were told that there will be no doctors until Saturday. Saturday comes,
Saturday goes.
no doctors show up, and eventually the patient dies. Now, we've had variations on this story on numerous occasions. I mean, I think the authorities need to start telling people, look, what they can handle and what they can't handle. I find it is somewhat outrageous that people have to wait so long for a doctor, particularly if it's identified I have bleeding on the brain and it's an emergency. Whether you have space in ICU or not, action has to be taken. Otherwise, the patient's going to die, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have the option of say, well, there's no space in ICU, so you're just going to have to wait and see if any space shows up.
They're saying a sprained ankle.
Yeah, this is not something you could put off. This is not something that could wait. This is not something that you could come back next week to address. This is life or death, right? How do you marry the two, right? That the hospital doesn't seem as if it's fit for purpose. I think almost universally that's been accepted. And yet the person that's ultimately in charge of it gets a fat contract to advise on what exactly can you advise us on. Now, look, if you'd come out and said the hospital cannot operate as it is because we have inadequate funding, we need to do repairs, we need this, we need that. Cool. I see simple things like missing tiles, which to me, that should never be in a hospital, man. That should be part of your routine maintenance. Floor's dirty. Again, routine maintenance. That can't be.
Mold in the wall.
Cobwebs, mold, yeah.
I saw a video with one of the AC ducts like that. You see that they're white? Brown, and the dust bunnies hanging down.
And then we saw one recently where like it looks like a piece of concrete has
Coming through the roof.
has fallen and come through the drop ceiling.
And you're coming to tell me what?
You know, I mean, it's. I think the UOP made a blunder. And I'm not necessarily blaming Grace Waters for all the ills of the hospital. But the fact is, you haven't spoken out about it. You haven't said, I can't do my job here because I'm not getting adequate funding. I can't do my job here because there aren't enough doctors available. I can't do my job here because there are insufficient nurses. I can't do my job here because we don't have beds. You know what I mean? I can't do... ICU unit is generally runs at 100% capacity. It needs to be bigger. You know what I mean? You don't get a pass unless you've spoken out.
You know, and the thing about that, right? Again, with all what we're saying here, kudos to all the persons who try to make it happen. Because I've seen,
and she may be one of them.
And but yeah, we have to work with. It just ain't happening.
But you have to call it for what it is.
You have to.
If it's not fit for purpose, then just say, look,
it ain't cutting it.
We can't deliver the healthcare that you want, that you expect, because blah blah blah.
It ain't cutting it. But you ain't doing that.
Women should not be giving birth to children while concrete is falling through the roof. Politicians would not accept that for their own families.
It's good. And when you was watching it and you saw the video with the comrade saying he just go down the way, you pass there on the way out of town, and on the way back to the Taj Mahal, you don't go in there. You don't go there.
We've seen it on repeated occasions. You can't convince us otherwise.
Oh, you can't tell me otherwise. Your finger ain't move a morning, you're gone somewhere. You don't go there. Stop trying to tell people that. You're insulting people's intelligence by doing that.
I see a lot of people arguing in the live comments. I think the biggest takeaway from all this is there was no doctor to see him.
Yeah.
Yo. Comments.
Listen. It's not uncommon. You've heard it before. You go in there Friday night. You ain't seen a doctor till Monday.
If you're lucky.
You ain't seen
If you're lucky.
on Monday.
If and like Luke said, it have two of us in the room to give you a direct hands-on.
Three.
Three.
I was in a bad car accident when I was 17 years old.
To give you a direct hands-on.
Half of my eyebrow was hanging down here, and I didn't see the doctor. I got in the accident at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't see a doctor till after 4 the evening.
But listen to me, man. We could say what we want. And again, like Luke said again, it's not that you're blaming Grace Ray. Man, I'm not blaming Grace. But it's not that thing. But the persons who are the overall overseers, they don't care because you do not use it. And once I don't use it, I could give two jacks about it. And that is the long and the short of the movie. You don't care. So when you sit on a chair and you try to tell me, I don't bet you don't, you lie.
It's a hard story. It's a hard
sell.
It's a hard sell.
You're trying to get a rabbit to eat a hamburger.
And it's somewhat I find it somewhat amazing that the ULP would have gone down that road where clearly you're going to be challenged on what you're saying. Mm-hmm. This is a candidate that is going to struggle to run on her record. Mm-hmm. And therefore you got to beg the question, why would you select that as your preferred candidate? Is it because you feel that you could mama guy your way through it?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, it's that. It's that. Look at it right there. You just said.
I would find it difficult in any place to run on. And again, whether it's her fault or not, it's up for discussion. But it's a difficult record to defend.
And it's not mama guy, it's papa guy.
Apparently,
yeah, papa guy.
Apparently,
you're trying to papa guy me through it. You don't use it. Nobody for you uses it. No part of nothing will look like you just use it.
We've heard so many stories of ministers flying out to do whatever.
Always. Yeah. And if it's not that you go under the guys are meeting, but you know meeting. You know nothing. We know nobody's stupid.
Yeah.
But you're insulting people's integrity by telling people, you don't. You do not. You do know what a hospital cup looks like. You don't. So if, and all I'm saying here,
and listen, we don't blame you.
I ain't blaming you, all right? When you say that how they want to privatize, they should. If they want to say, they should. If they get $10 for the hospital,
I saw Rohan Bullock made an interesting argument. He was saying that for certain things, he mentioned gynecology as one, where it's already almost fully privatized in terms of people seeking gynecological treatment or advice already go to private doctors.
You better bet. You see for the
Tisha wants to know if no doctor there to see them, who's going to staff the new hospital?
Now we will find them. And if it's for the opening, we'll find them.
And you see, no, but that's an important question, because if you say, look, it's going to be adequately staffed, then the obvious question is, well, why isn't the current hospital adequately staffed? You can't have it both ways, huh?
There you go.
Well, see, but this also brings another question. If we catch in hell with this one, you're bringing a new one to do what?
Well, as quite often is the case in these things, is that we mask it behind the physical structure is the problem. But if no doctors show up from Friday evening through to Saturday evening before the patient died,
you remember?
I mean, what's going to change?
I remember when I can't remember the lady had come in or called in or whatever with the little boy who was down and they couldn't find the problem.
Yeah,
they had him to just piece it him up.
And he couldn't go to Trinidad because they didn't have a diagnosis. Because was the explanation.
Yeah.
I said it once and I will say it again. There is a serious problem when there is no urgency in the emergency room.
Maybe
that's a real slogan right to this
morning. No. I don't want a slogan. There's a serious problem when the persons who are supposed to be the caring ones don't.
That part.
That right there is that's the genesis of your problem. Once they don't use it, they don't care about it. You know what again? The middle finger. That is the problem. Anybody could say what they want. Say what you want. Once they don't care, dog bite you. And that's what it is.
All right, with the compliments of Swift Pack, that's what getting us all vexed this morning.
Swift Packet from the USA and the